This video will help you with the carbon cycle gizmo, but we're going to do activity A. If you just finished the warm-up, remember to click the reset button right here. All right? Because I want you to start anew. Now, it's telling us that, the Earth can be divided into different systems, the atmosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and biosphere. It explains what those are, so read that carefully. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually create your very own unique carbon cycle. Remember that the carbon that's on this planet is the same carbon that's always been here. And it never is created or destroyed, it just transforms from one form to another. And when I say from one form to another, I mean that carbon itself, the C, can bond to various other elements, forming different things, like a gas, like carbon dioxide, or it can form a solid, like plant stuff, like glucose, C6H12O2. It can become oil. There's lots of stuff it can become, which you're going to learn right now. So what it wants you to do here in this gizmo, it wants you to use the gizmo to create a path for carbon that begins and ends in the atmosphere. Fill in the steps for the path below. Yes, use them all. If you try to cheat and just go right from atmosphere somewhere then back to atmosphere, you will lose points for all of these boxes. So don't do that. And just like before in the warm-up, we're going to click on an area. From CO2 in the atmosphere as a gas, carbon dioxide can either be absorbed by the exposed rock, land, plants, or by the ocean. So you pick whatever one you want. If you do pick one, let's say you pick ocean, here's our path over here. Make sure you write what system is it in, the ocean, which I would put there, the hydrosphere, right? So you're going to put ocean, and it just so happens that when carbon is absorbed by the ocean actually absorbs it in the form of CO2, still as a gas, but now it's in the hydrosphere. So they want you to tell me where it goes and what system that is in. Remember, the four systems are up here. They explain what each system is here. And then tell me how it got there. And it says that it dissolves in cold ocean surface waters. Colder the water, the more CO2 can be dissolved. Large amount of dissolved CO2 is contained in the deep ocean. Great. So you're going to write that there. Then you're going to pick another place from the ocean. Anywhere that is blue, we can go to. You go back to the atmosphere. That does not mean you're done. Remember, you have to fill all these boxes. You could be absorbed by marine plants and algae or shells and corals. Let's pick shells and corals and see what happens. Boom. It says that marine animals use dissolved oceanic CO2 as a source of carbon for their calcium carbonate. Check that out. So the CO2 that was dissolved in the ocean now is used by marine animals, and they break the bonds of CO2 and reform it to make CaCO3. So here's that carbon. It's calcium, carbon, and 3 oxygens. So it is no longer a gas. It is no longer CO2. The carbon from CO2 was taken off. They probably, it looks like they used the O2 as well. And they turned it into something hard, like the shells of its skeleton. So you're going to continue this by writing down where it went, where to go in the path. You write shells and corals. If you write shells and corals here, you figure out which sphere it's in. That'd be the biosphere, it's a living thing. And you tell me how it got there. All right, and you're going to complete that. Now for the rest of this, it kind of follows the same sort of path. It says, use the gizmo to create a path in which the carbon atom goes from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere, biosphere, and geosphere. So they want you to specifically go to these different places and write how it got there. Right, this is the place it went in each of these spheres, and explain how it got there. Now they want you to use it again to make 3 more paths, each starting and ending in the atmosphere. Label each location with an A or a B or a G or an H. All right, so keep going on with that. What they mean is if you start in the atmosphere, you're going to put A, and then make another one, right? If it went to shells or an animal, you put shells, animals with a little B above it. If it went into the earth, you want to put where it went, like oil, put G above that, and so forth. Number 4, what I want you to do is to explain how the following transitions happen. Describe at least 2 ways carbon get from land to the atmosphere. So you're going to have to click around a lot. We're not in the land yet, so I want to try to get us in the land. There we go, limestone. That's in the land. They want to know a couple different ways you can get from the land into the atmosphere. So check it out. Limestone can be used by a cement plant, which can then burn up some fuel and release it back to the atmosphere. So you're going to summarize how it got from the limestone back to the atmosphere for these parts. And then you're going to do the same thing for the rest of this. It says, talk about two ways it gets from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere. You might have to click around. You might have to hit reset. Right, let's bring it to the hydrosphere. Good, it's in the ocean. How can it get back to the atmosphere? Well, from the ocean, we know it can exist as dissolved CO2. Boom, back to the atmosphere. If the water gets warmed up, that's one way. Reset it, bring it to the atmosphere. How else can it get back? Marine plants. Then they can turn to this, can turn to this. So you have to summarize this. All right? If you need help, just call me over.